For section 2 of the Might Lift Go podcast, I'm going to show you how to make a checker shape, or you could make any other vector design, take it into Illustrator and use it on your 3D shapes. So we're going to be using the selection tool initially. Now we'll use the shape tool actually. So go to your shape tool, create a square. Okay, now this square is, let's get rid of that. A blue fill, no outline, which is what we want initially. And I'm going to use the Alt key so that I get a second square exactly the same size. Okay, that'll give you that double arrow. Copy that, and this second square I want to change to being, if I go to the movement tool on there, I'm going to make it a black outline and a no fill. Black outline so that I can see it. White in the middle. Okay, and a black outline by clicking onto the stroke part. Okay, so I'm going to say OK to that. Oh, give me another one. Don't really need that one. So I'll just click on that with the movement tool and get rid of it. So I want to start by putting those up against each other. We're going to merge those two layers by clicking on there, and in order to not lose the fill, you're going to have to do a merge visible. So get rid of anything which you're not going to merge on there and go to layer, scroll to the bottom, merge visible, and that will merge your two layers. You can bring the background back at this point if you want to. And I'm then going to do another Alt and copy that section. Okay, so I've got 4 now. I want to merge those two together again, so click on the two layers, layer, merge visible. That's given me a row of 4, and I'm going to copy that so that I've now got 8. I want to spin that around so that it's facing the other way. Just take time to get it straight and square to your first section. Okay, and you're going to slide that then up so that it's 6 next to, and that's the first 8 squares of your checkerboard. You're going to merge those again by selecting the 2 layers. I think I didn't place that, so click onto there, that's right, and again go to layer, merge visible, and I've got 4 sections. Drag that one down again using the Alt key so that I've got 8, and finally that's as far as I want to go. So I've got a checkerboard of shapes. I will just merge those 4 again. So go to layer, merge visible at the bottom. Okay, we might as well bring our background shape back together again. Okay, I then want to select that, and I'm going to copy it onto a page that I've started preparing on Illustrator. So do a Command C there, go to Illustrator, to a page here, Command V to paste it in. I haven't collected it. Let's go back a second, Photoshop. Well, let's do it a slightly different way. Let's save that. So to a file, save as. I'm just going to put it on my desktop and call it a checker. Okay, that's just one I saved earlier. Go back to Illustrator and open it on here. So File, Open. Hopefully in my desktop I have got checker that we just created. Yes, we have. So we can open that. Okay, so now I want that on the same page as I've put these photos for a reason that you will realise in a minute. So I'm going to put that onto there. Okay, now we're going to use these to put onto a cube shape. So I'll come to the cube shape in a minute. In order to paste any photographs or anything that you've created onto the face of your cube, you need to have everything on the same page as a shape. So I will just create a shape. No, I'll create the shape afterwards. What I'm going to do first is put these into the symbols box because that's where you're going to drag them from. So go to symbols and you're just going to put your symbol shapes here and photographs into the symbols box. Don't need that. By just going to make sure you're on your black arrow, drag them across to that symbols box, change movie clip to graphic and say OK. Okay, it moves in there. I'm also going to put some photographs in here so that I can show you how photographs look on your shapes as well. So I've got that. There are a few preset symbols in there as well, but you should be using your things that you've created or taken photographs of yourself generally. So I'm going to use these. So again, drag the last one into the symbols box, click on graphic and click OK. Okay, so we've got 3 or 4 things that we can apply onto a shape now. So I can delete these at this point, but what's important is that as I make my shape, I do it on the page that I've dragged the pieces into the symbol box from. If you've got a different page, this won't work. So let's create a box initially by clicking onto the screen there. I'm going to leave my colour and I'm going to leave it as no fill on this one. And as before, we're going to go to Effect, 3D, I'm going to Extrude and Bevel, and I'm going to go to Preview. That'll give me a slight bevel. I'm going to make a box. So I could have it as a cylinder, but I think we'll keep it as a fairly square box. Okay. Now, before you come out of this Extrude and Bevel dialog box, you then need to go to Map Art. Go to Map Art, and under None, you will find your pictures and images that you've created. So we can put some of the photos onto the face of this box. So I'll click that one first. Change the size of that as you wish. As you see, it's appearing on the preview. You can see what you're going to get, and I'm going to say that's okay. So I'm happy with that one. I'm then going to go to the next face of the box, which is the next one, so it's on the back side of here. I'll put the same picture on there, I think, for now. So click onto there. Maybe I'll do just a different section of it, so I'll move that and go to the third layer. That's also a back side. I'm going to put the grass piece onto there, so I can see a different picture. If I leave it not quite filling that shape, it will not show. We'll put the grass on the bottom as well. So I'm working through my 5 shapes. This one I can see on the side, so let's put the other picture onto there. Oh, I can show you what happens with the grass actually. If I leave it in the centre of that box, you can see you've got the green box border from the original box. Okay, I'm going to go to a different one because I don't want the grass again. I'm going to go to that one. So I'll put this in here. And then the last one is on the top, and let's go to that one again, but we'll maybe show a different section of it. Okay, and obviously you could go close up and make it show more of the tractor in this case. That's got it. Okay, so we'll just have a different view showing on the box there. So I've covered my 6 sides, and I can now say OK. So you don't click OK until you've finished all the sides of your box. I can also at this point have a look at my other sides. So I can spin that around, see what I had elsewhere. Okay, bring it back to where you want it. That's gone right head over heels. So we'll spin it until we've got the pictures the right way up again, I think. Lost the top here. Let's try that one. That way. Okay. So we get the idea. So we're going to click OK on there. Okay, and that's how you put a set of photographs using this symbols box onto a 3D shape. I'm just going to show you one other shape at the moment, and I'll use the circle for this one. Click again to get a sphere, 3D, revolve this time, preview. Oh, I didn't do, cancel that, I didn't do my white arrow. I'll just go back, delete, effect, 3D, revolve, preview it to get the ball, and this time I'm going to go to map art and I'm going to pick the checkerboard, and as you see on there it's not covering the whole of the shape there. You've seen the green background because this checkerboard is not at the moment covering the whole of this area. Okay, so stretch that over there. Oops, getting it stuck slightly because it's going outside the shape. Oh, come on. That's it. So I can say OK to that. So I've got my shape on there. One other thing I was just going to suggest on here, I need to cancel that before I can go ahead. Okay, is, oops, how to do that? Just, oh, it's because I'm still on my white arrow. Move that down. So your black arrow is your movement tool. One thing I could just do on here, which is much quicker in Illustrator now than it would be doing it in Photoshop, is having made those initial sections, I can make this into a much more complex series of shapes. I'm using the Alt key as I showed you earlier to create those together. Just drag those together again, make that on there. If I just then drag that into the symbols box again to create another symbol, movie clip to graphic, okay, and just go back to my shape again with the circle, you'll see this is going to create a more interesting sort of piece, and doesn't do any harm just to see the process of creating the 3D shape again. Preview the circle, go to map art, now choose that more complex check which is there, and you can see on here, I'll just drag it around across there for now. Okay, okay, and we've created something again with a more complex check. Okay, so I'm going to finish this podcast here now, and we'll just have a look at, in the final section, of some ways to take these shapes into something linking it to Mike Lithgow in the second week.